with Terry Moran, Martin Bashir, and Cynthia McFadden in New York City. This is Nightline, December 21st, 2009.
Good evening. It's supposed to be the season of goodwill, but Mother Nature, it seems, has other ideas. As the East Coast digs out after a massive weekend storm, a second weather system is already dumping snow across the West, making that trip home for the holidays long and painful for millions. But beyond the frustration of delays and cancellations are the true travel disasters, catastrophes, a plane crashing to earth, two trains colliding. And believe it or not, there are ways to increase your chances of survival, as Nick Watt now reports.
I looked up and I saw a fireball coming straight for me.
You are responsible for your life.
People are burned and all black and stuff. People are trying to get out, they couldn't get out.
If you know what you're doing, you've got a better chance of surviving.
I could see the flames, and there was some people trapped underneath.
A second can make the difference between life and death. There you go.
Ed Gallia has spent the last 25 years analysing how we react in emergencies.
Grab your guy and get him out.
Recently, Gallia and his team interviewed 300 people who escaped the Twin Towers on 9/11. They made a startling discovery. When the planes hit, only 1 in 10 people inside the World Trade Center reacted immediately.
The majority of people took a maximum of about 8 minutes to react to the building being hit. 8 minutes. Some people even took longer, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, to actually disengage from their whatever activity they were involved with to start to physically evacuate.
It turns out this is normal human behavior. What can you do, if anything, to give yourself the best possible chance of surviving a disaster? Well, there are some basic rules that just might help. Rule number 1, leave when you hear the alarm.
The most common response to hearing a fire alarm or any sort of emergency alarm is to ignore it.
Because we assume that any alarm is a false alarm or just a drill.
Use the nearest stairs and exits to exit the building.
People don't want to appear to be weak or to be silly or to be scared. Peer group pressure actually prevents people from being the first to react.
You're still using the library terminal, correct?
When escaping disaster, every second counts. Rule number 2, fear fire. It spreads very fast. In modern life, our fear of fire has dimmed to a dangerous nonchalance.
People have lost respect and understanding of fire. Now, the only time that people come into contact with fire in modern society is, perhaps lighting a barbecue.
Watch this blaze sweep through a British department store in 1979. People could smell the fire, they could hear the alarm, but they just bought lunch and stayed to finish eating. The fire killed 10 people, most of them here in the cafeteria.
Essentially, every second counts.
If you weren't out of that building in 30 seconds, you didn't have a prayer.
In 2003, 100 people died during this fire, sparked by a pyrotechnics display at a Rhode Island nightclub.
The fire engulfed the building at such a high rate of speed, and from there on it turned into a nightmare.
Gallia built a computer model of that fire. Watch how quickly flames and smoke spread.
That's the dance floor covered. That's the bar area covered. 90 seconds.
If you're walking into an unfamiliar building, a hotel perhaps, figure out how you would get out in a hurry. Once you've checked in, find out where the nearest exit is and then actually walk the route between your room and that exit, counting the number of doors along the way. That way, if the corridor is filled with smoke, you can actually feel your way to safety. When he checks into a hotel, Gallia will ask for a room on the 6th floor or below. Why?
Most fire ladders can't extend above about 6 floors.
How to survive a plane crash. In 1996, a hijacked Ethiopian airliner carrying 175 passengers ran out of fuel and crashed into the Indian Ocean. 125 people were killed. Many of them drowned because they inflated their life vests too soon and got stuck inside the sinking fuselage. Wait to inflate until you're on the outside. Despite what you might think, around 95% of people involved in plane crashes in the US come out alive.
It's cold! Are you okay?
Gallia has interviewed more than 2,000 survivors. Apparently, there is no magic seat, the safest seat in which you're most likely to survive, because every crash is different. But the statistics suggest sit within 7 rows of an emergency exit, and preferably take an aisle seat. That way it's easier to get to an exit. How to survive a train crash. This past summer, 9 people were killed and more than 70 injured when one Washington, D.C. metro train ploughed into the back of another at the peak of evening rush hour.
It sounded like thunder to me, a loud thunder, you know, real loud thunderclap.
What can you do when riding a train to increase your chances of survival?
Whenever I get on a train, I will avoid the front and rear cars.
Because the front and rear coaches are most likely to be hit or to hit something else.
I will take a seat where my back is facing the direction of travel.
We would like to wish you a pleasant journey.
If the train crashes, you will be pushed backwards into the seat, not thrown across the carriage. The golden rule: have a plan.
Please, for your safety, please start moving down.
Faced with disaster, some people go into superhuman mode. They're calm and strong and endeavour to save themselves and others. Others simply freeze.
If you haven't thought about what you might do and prepared, the thing becomes overwhelming and you shut down. You can prepare yourself to react appropriately in emergency situations.
Make a plan ahead of time. You don't want to find out there's a problem with your escape route when the fire's already started and your life's already in danger. Anticipate disaster, then you're more likely to survive it. I'm Nick Watts for Nightline in London.
As the old Boy Scout saying goes, be prepared. Our thanks to Nick Watt.